Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Lyric, your Wild and Not Creative.
And it's your girl Mariah.
And this is 15 Minutes with Dad, where you guys get to join our fun-loving and quirky world for about 15 minutes every week as we talk about values that we hold dear, like mental health practices, uplifting each other, family development, and healing. And lastly, different ways that we navigate our crazy relationship, me being a single father and her being a teenage girl. Let's get into it. If it sounds like something that you like to listen to, make sure that you subscribe, like our YouTube channel, and follow us on all streaming platforms at 15 Minutes with Dad. Let's go. All right, y'all. So today I thought we'd get into a conversation that's a little bit heavier and a lot more deeper, because I feel like I've been talking to a lot of you guys' comments, and a lot of your comments have been showing like different types of relationships that you guys have with your parents or your father. Daughters have with their father, and it's what's interesting to me is that I realize that a lot of them have disclosed information about their image about themselves and how their dad's relationship or their relationship with their dad impacts their image as a woman, right? As a growing young lady and as a woman. And so we're going to talk about that. And I asked Mariah for permission to kind of get a little deep so we can talk about it. So, excuse my language. So let's get into it. So my first question, I mean, let's not make it a question, but it's more of a conversation. Like, what are some things that you look at? What are some things that you look at from me to kind of describe to help you formulate what you feel, how you feel about yourself, like your image, your self-image?
Maybe I think it's like the way that you talk to me, sort of thing. Like whenever we're like whenever I'm down on myself and you see that, like, oh, like, you know, this is like whenever I'm like saying, like, I don't know how to explain it.
Like when you're talking bad about yourself, or like down on yourself, or giving yourself some negative.
Yeah, so like that, and then you'll talk to me and be like, you give me affirmation, sort of thing. You know, like, even though, like, you know, people are like, oh, self-affirmation sort of thing, but I think also you need that from other people as well, and I feel like that helps, like, very much, especially coming from you. I don't know why, but it actually, like, really helps me.
Right.
So
no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And even from my perspective, like, our words matter. Words matter, guys. So like, and so not even going to get into a quick story, but I learned that when I was younger, I've experienced trauma, right? Everybody experienced trauma, but I like in my growth as an adult, my grandfather, on a Mother's Day just randomly apologized to me. Right. And that was just like, he apologized. He was like, I didn't know how else to be. Like, you know, I'm sorry. Like, I know you don't mess with me because of this and this and this. And, you know, our relationship has always been tumultuous. And so when he apologized, it made me cry, because it turns out that that voice that's in my head that I've been suffering or battling all my life, like, oh, you're not man enough, you don't know how to be a man, blah, 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 was my grandfather. And when it wasn't until he apologized that I realized, like, I've been holding that chip on my shoulder all my life. And so, and that's just my perspective from, like, as a father, and how I, you know, grew up to be the man that I am. And when looking toward your way, like, your image of me matters to me as well. Right. Because I feel like I try my best. And I think every parent, like, you know, I don't want to say every parent, but most parents try their best, right? And if they feel like, and it all depends on what their mental health, like their strengths, right? And how impactful that kid's words are. Like, I know a lot of teenagers out there that be like, "You suck, mom," or like, "You stink, dad." And I take showers, so I don't stink that bad, right? Sometimes, but
was that right? Rhetorical, or is that like an actual?
That was a statement. I actually said that as a statement. I didn't know it was an actual question involved. But
good thing it wasn't an actual question, because then it would be a whole other story.
we're talking about image here. You talking about you. So now I feel self-conscious about. Now I feel self-conscious about myself. All right, so no. um, so like talking about that image thing, right, and the self-esteem thing. Um, like, what are some like? I mean, I know you talked about ways that things that I do to help you with your image, but are there things that I do that negatively impact your image of yourself right now?
No, not that I can like really think of. I think it's more like if I'm like in a mode or like in a mode. If I'm ever like in
Both.
a
They all both in mode and mood. Mode. Sorry, dad jokes. My
that
bad.
was just no.
My bad.
No.
I'll stop. I'll stop. I'll
Thanks,
stop.
Thanks. Do a mom joke. I think mom jokes would be
Nah,
no.
not as funny.
No. I don't think dad jokes are funny either, but
Yeah, you do. You've been loving them since you were a kid, and you're still a kid, and you still love them.
do I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
What I was saying.
Banter.
So whenever like I'm in a mood, and then like you're like, and then you like I'm saying something, and then you say something that like has nothing to do with whatever we're talking about, and I don't know, that, yeah.
So do you feel like you're not seen or unheard because of it?
Yeah.
And if you feel like you're so like.
Or I think like whenever we're having a conversation, then you go to a whole other conversation sort of thing. Like I hate when people do that for some reason. Like
let's put it into perspective. Are you talking about more like when I'm like when you tell me a story about somebody and then I change how that story's perspective and goes into more about you than it is the person that you were talking about?
Yeah, or you like whenever you like if you were to compare me to somebody, I hate when you do that.
You know, I don't know why people think I compare people. Like in my head.
No, you do compare me to people.
Do I?
Yes.
Who I compare you to? Or some people. You don't have to tell me. I'm just joking.
Tell you later.
No, I'm joking. You don't have to tell me. Okay, so I think that's a valid point, right? Of me comparing you to people, and I think like in a growing world, as we grow, I know that you compare me to other fathers as well.
Do I?
You compare me to other parents. Right. And I don't know if I compare you as a means to say that you should be like them or be that they're better than you and you should be like them, but more so taking a tactic of someone doing something that I'm saying that, or I'm asking you to do that you may think is impossible. And I give you an example of somebody that's done it as a means, like that is my intention behind it. And I apologize if it feels like I'm actually comparing you and making you feel like that person's better than you, because in my eyes, no one's better than you.
Slay.
There you go.
W.
And so, no, that's a valid point, and I receive that, and I'm going to process that and be more conscientious about when I have conversations about you, when you're talking about me, and because here's the thing, guys, I use a lot of moments as growth moments.
Growth mindset.
I am a constant teacher, and I think that is not always a good thing, because sometimes I need to just listen, right? And I have a problem figuring that out, because I'm always trying to teach people stuff, whether it be adults' business or kids' life, or adults' life. But I'm always teaching, and so when I get into those teaching modes, it sometimes come off of like when I'm talking, I'm trying to teach, I try to use real world examples as a means to get that point across. And sometimes I think that she just needs me to listen. Is that valid? You don't want me to say nothing, just listen.
Yeah, I feel
You
like
don't want my opinion, you just want me to
whenever
listen.
I say something, and like it sounds like I want to have trying to have a conversation or something like that. Sometimes I just want you to I guess to vent, sort of thing.
Right. So why don't you just tell me that can I have a venting sessions?
Because that is weird.
I don't know, but it's important that you communicate to let me know.
I vent to you in different times.
You vent to me all the time. It's a constant vent.
But I don't do one big.
It's like an AC system, all vent. But see, I told you like dad jokes. I told you like dad jokes.
That was not good.
Yeah, no, like, no, but no, I get what you said. Like, but it's important that you communicate at what level and you want me to engage back, because if I over engage, I don't know that I'm over engaged, right? But if I over engage, like if you let me know precursor that, hey, Dad, this is what. All right, I want to tell you something. It's not for advice. I just want to tell you because I'm really aggravated, really mad right now. Okay, tell me.
That's usually why I tell you stuff, and then that's why like whenever we're having a conversation and stuff, and I tell you something, and then you like start talking about something and then like
It becomes a teaching moment.
yeah, and then that's when I like get into a whole mood and stuff like that. Cause I'm like, bro, I just told you this. I didn't want a teaching moment. I just wanted to tell you.
Right. Okay, so let's set that as a standard, right? But also be mindful that at moments that I feel like it is very pertinent that I teach you something, I'm going to teach you. I understand that I teach too much sometimes. I teach a lot.
You teach more than my teacher does.
Touche. They should pay. Nope, I should not pay me your teacher salary. We should pay our teachers more because they are really at the front line of our kids' life.
They are
Message.
They are creating heroes.
Facts. Big
Yes.
facts. So, plug. That's a plug. That was a plug moment. Okay, never mind. Anyways, so no, like I like this, and this is a great conversation because I feel like a lot of people out that are watching this right now have maybe not had this conversation with their parents or know how to communicate to their parents. As you could tell, we don't know how to communicate. We're communicating right now on how we should better communicate. A lot of communication words. And so what I'm getting out of this is that one, like I do well by helping you uplift your image by way of positive affirmations and giving you different positive outlooks and giving you different mental health tips and stuff like that to kind of work on your mental. But it's counterintuitive to the point when I'm taking moments when you're venting and using it as a teaching moment and start creating real life experiences or taking examples from people that real life experiences, and to give you an example as a means of how you can go about it. And so that's a valid point. Now let's get to me. Because, I think I'm valuable. I think people need to know about,
Think that. Good thing
Thanks.
you don't get paid for thinking.
I do get paid for thinking, actually. Let's be honest.
Oh my goodness.
So, and for me, like, it's not, you don't tell me that I'm a terrible person, right? You don't say like, Dad, you're crazy, you're bad, like.
I'm actually too scared to say that. Like,
oh wow, okay.
Like, not like you, but I'm just saying like
The disrespect that it carries,
I'm terrified of that level of disrespect. I'm just
Right.
like, you know what? Let me not go to that one.
Yeah,
Get that door.
yeah. I'm just gonna bang this bit up. No, but the things that I love that you do to uplift me is that you're like my biggest fan, like beyond anything. She knows all my songs better than me. She knows all my music. She's like at every performance. She's been grading me on every performance, and she was like coming to my performance at the age of 5, 6.
I always get like an A+ with a whole
Bunch of pluses.
Yeah.
Never got an A++ infinity -1. Like I don't know. Yeah. But the thing that I love most is that if I'm feeling down or you see that I'm talking bad about myself too much, you come in and say, that's not true, Dad. Like you give me positives on you take different moments that I can look at in real time and say, okay, you're right. Like I am doing this well, and I am doing this, and I do this well when I'm kind of harping on myself and kind of going down, like hating, being hateful toward myself. And so like I personally really appreciate that, because like if we both in that space, we just there. It's hard for us to kind of navigate, and we have to go our separate ways and figure that out. Yeah. But when I'm there and you're like, you know, you're having a good day, you want to bring me out and you give me a nice big hug. I love hugs from her. So amazing. But let's get to the bad stuff, right? Because that's what everybody want to know. Now, let's get to the juicy stuff.
If you enjoyed your experience, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Make sure to turn on your notifications so that you don't miss another episode. You can like and share us on Instagram or TikTok at 15 Minutes with Dad. And remember, 15 minutes is a short time, but better than no time. Spend it with someone that you love.